doctor said we need to send him to the ER at Children's right away. Something's not right.
We're going to be doing an HIPEC with Dr. Hayes Jordan. We have no allergies. Our machine has been checked and it works well. And the procedure in this site didn't need to be marked because it's in the abdomen, so there's one. And our health information systems is open. Thank you.
So they said the first option is radiation, but really that's not an option because the amount of radiation he would need would kill him. The second option is to just continue with experimental chemo and see what happens. We didn't feel like we had time to wait. The third option was the surgery. Well, it was up to the surgeon whether or not she was going to take his case. So we had really no control over that, and so to us every option looked like he was going to die.
From there they said, okay, what we're looking to do is maybe do this surgery where they cut him essentially right down the middle, try to cut out all the tumors, and then they would flow warm chemo through his belly. It's called HIPEC. And then while they were flowing the chemo through him, they would physically shake him for a couple hours. And they said, John, we don't really have any other options. This is the biggest hammer we have.
The only problem is there were 2 surgeons in the country that did this procedure. One was in Chicago, and he had a relatively new team that he was working with. And then the expert and the person who actually started doing the surgery was down in Houston. And so it was an easy choice for us.
We said, hey, let's do this Make-A-Wish trip now while he's still got, we can still function at, 100%, kind of. Yep. So we went down to Disney World, and it was a great trip.
No? What's your name?
Jackson.
Oh, why does it say Franklin?
Because I'm in a Franklin.
That's where we live.
Oh, that's where you live.
All the kids had a great time, and definitely a vacation we'll remember forever.
Mm-hmm.
Was it in January? So we're pretty much waiting for the call to get called down to Texas for the surgery, and they said, get ready, you're going to be down here for like a month. So like a week of like appointments before the surgery, and then a good 3 or 4 week recovery time from the surgery, just because it's a major procedure. And they ended up calling us on a Thursday to be down there on a Tuesday. And it's like, I remember we had a lot of prayers before I went in, just saying, God, please take him in your loving arms and just keep our boy. We want more time with him,
I remember one thing I'll never forget was the surgeon said, can I pray with you? Like, to me, that was huge.
Everything's gonna go well. There won't be any mistakes. There won't be any problems. We're gonna get all the tumors out. Everything's gonna go great. In Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, buddy. Want to give Mama a big hug?
Dad's going to stay with you, but okay.
Give Mama a big hug.
Knowing that feeling like she really cared.
Well, I got to go into the surgeon room with him and take him in and just wish him luck, pray with him one more time, and give him a big kiss and a big hug. And then we had to go, and he fell asleep pretty quick there. But yeah, it was a couple hours in that you go to a waiting room and they call your name and they take you to a little room to get an update, how many tumors they'd taken out, kind of thing. And it was a good 5 hours in when we got word from Speaker Ryan's office that he got approved from the FDA to do that final step where they would flow that different chemo through his belly. But yeah, so they took 166 tumors, a sigmoid colon,
Spleen, his appendix, and his gallbladder.
15 hours or so, or yeah, it was like 15 hours after the surgery, I think. We got him up into a chair. I think it was only like a day or so later, he actually took his first steps, and we kind of walked out of his room a few steps, And then a few hours later, we were like, hey, Jack, there's a PS4 in the playroom down the hall. And we were going to get him to one point and then have the wheelchair take him. But the doctors told us, like, the more he walks, the more he does, the more activity, the better. And he ended up walking right past that chair, walking, a good 60 yards or so, all the way to that gaming room.
We're about a year and 2 months, 3 months out from treatment. And he's had clear scans ever since. We go every 3 months.
It says, when your last chemo has come and gone, ring this bell to tell everyone. It's a time to celebrate. Hip hip hooray. What a great feeling. What a great day. Okay, now ring it.
Ring it, buddy.
Great job.
It's hard to tell with Jackson, like, he didn't have the normal path because we had to change his chemo, and that surgery was experimental. Like, there are no stats for Jackson, so we had to decide to, like, essentially live for today and do as much as we can with him and with the kids. And he's at a really good point where his weight's back up.
He's in first grade.
He's in first grade. He played t-ball this last summer. He's the best kid on the field. Like, I'm not kidding. The kid's got a lot of energy, a lot of passion. Loves to fish. And the thing is, like, everyone prepped us for having all these long-term effects, and maybe those will come later. But right now, you can't tell anything happened. And it feels so good to be in that place right now for our family. So, yes, so we're talking about the likelihood of relapse, right?
Right.
I think what's most surprising for me is, like, he's had all this stuff removed, spleen, colon, gallbladder, appendix, and he still goes at 100%.